Hi, in this video we're going to learn how to find the x and y intercepts of a linear equation. If you're able to find the x and the y intercepts, then you can plot those 2 points and you can easily graph any linear equation, any basic linear equation, or any equation for that matter, any linear equation. You want to keep in mind that when you do this, okay, an example, let's say you wanted to, let's say you're given this linear equation, all right? And I want you to test if this is a solution to the equation, okay? And before I get into x and y intercepts, I just want to mention this briefly, okay? So you have 2x plus 4 equals 10, and they want to know is the point -1, 3 a solution of the equation. And the easy way to do that is you take the equation and then you go ahead and substitute the points, okay? So let's go ahead and label this. This is your x and this is your y. So the x is the -1. So we're going to replace the x with -1, okay? And then we're going to replace the y with 3. Whoops, 3. And it should equal 10. Because if it doesn't, then this is not a solution to the equation. It means that point is not on that line, okay? So 2 times -1 is -2. And then 4 times 3 is 12. And then, of course, -2 plus 12. If you take the difference of 12 and 2, it's 10. And then that checks. So yes. So you can say yes. Whoops. Yes. It is a solution. Okay, it's very easy. If it doesn't equal the number, then it's not a solution. Okay, so therefore that point is definitely on that line. All right. So okay, so let's go ahead and use that same example. Okay, and let's go ahead and find the x and the y intercepts. All right, so we're going to start off with finding the x. Find the x intercept. And there's something you have to do. If you want to find the x in that equation, the x intercept of that equation, then you're going to have to set y equals 0. And that's something that you will have to kind of keep in mind. Okay, so that means we're going to take the equation, okay, and then we're going to go ahead and plug in 0 for y. And when you do that, you're just going to be left with 2x equals 10, because 4 times nothing is nothing, so it cancels, okay? And then you go ahead and divide both sides by 2, and then you're going to see that my x is going to be 5. When you write that as an ordered pair, then we should write that as 5, 0, because x is 5, that's your x coordinate. Your y coordinate was 0, because that's what we had to plug in for y. And then that's it. That's one of your points. Okay? If you wanted to find the other solution, the other intercept, okay, if you want to find the if you want to find the y-intercept, then we need to plug in x equals 0. So it's the opposite. If you want to find the y, then x needs to be 0. So we're going to go and plug it in. Okay, 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 10. All right, so basically this goes away, and then you're just left with 4y equals 10. and then you divide both sides by 4. I was hoping we would get a whole number, but that's okay. That's okay. Then we would get y equals 10 over 4, which reduces to 5 over 2. If you divide both numbers by 2, and therefore your y-intercept, when you put it in ordered pair, okay, x comma y, so it's going to be 0 because that's what x is. That's what we plugged in for x. And then we're going to put the reduced equation fraction here. 5 over 2. Well, 5 over 2 is like 2.5, okay? So if you were to graph this, okay, if you were to graph this, all right, and we draw, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, 5 comma 0 is going to be a point right here. That's 5 comma 0. That's the first point. The other point was 0 comma, well, 2.5. So if we make some lines here, 1, 2, 3, I would say 2.5 would be right here, right in the middle. And then if you go ahead and connect the 2 points, okay, you will have a nice graph that looks just like that. Okay? All right, and that's it. So you can actually graph this once you have the 2 intercepts, because all you need is 2 points to make a line, okay? And then you can see very accurately where the graph intercepts the y-axis, which is here, and the x-axis, which is there. So remember, this point here is sorry, I have a rough day today here, is 0. This point is 0 over 5 over 2. And this point down here is 5 comma 0. All right? And that's it. That's how you find the intercepts. Very, very basic, very, very easy. Okay? You know, we can do another example. Okay? So, if we want to graph 3x plus 6y equals 12, then the first thing we want to do is find the x-intercept. And we're going to go ahead and set y to 0, put y for 0. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And again, this cancels, so then you're left with, so sorry about that. Then you're left with 3x equals 12. You divide both sides by 3, and then you're going to be getting x equals 4. All right. So if you write that in coordinate form, then it'll be 4 comma 0. Okay. Same thing here. If you want to find the y-intercept, then you need to set x to 0, or replace x with 0, and then go ahead and do that. So the 3 times 0 plus 6y equals 12. This will cancel, and then you're just left with 6y equals 12. Divide both sides by 6. Okay, and you're going to get y equals 2. So your coordinate is 0, comma 2. Okay? Because you got to keep in mind that this is x comma y, this is x comma y. If we solved x for 4, then 4 should go where the x coordinate is, and then 0 should go where the y is. For this coordinate, x is 0, because that's what we substitute, and then y ended up being 2. So you really got to remember this key component. Okay? And if you wanted to graph these, then that should be pretty straightforward. Okay, x 4 comma 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be my point right here. 0 comma 2 should be up 1, 2. So my point should be right there. Again, this is a negative slope, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so there's my 2 points. This one is 0, 2. This one is 4, 0. And don't forget, this is my y-axis, and that's my x-axis. And that's what your graph would look like. Okay? All right. So finding the x and y intercepts are pretty straightforward. And then, of course, let me just go ahead and mention a few things here. If you're given this situation where you have x equals 2, and you're asked to graph that, then what you got to keep in mind, let me do a better line than that. Don't forget, this is your x, this is your y. X equals 2, well, let's plot that. 1, 2, here's 2. Okay, so that means that point is right there on the x-axis at 2. If you were to write this in coordinate form, then that literally would read 2, 0. It's a point on a line, and that means that that line is going to intercept the x-axis at 2. So therefore, it is a vertical line. And vertical lines have a slope of undefined. Okay? So my slope, which equals m, is going to equal undefined in this case. Okay? If you have a situation like this, y equals -2, and we were to graph that, okay, it's my y, this is my x. Well, -2, let's see, -2 down here, that's y equals -2, right? So therefore, that's going to be a horizontal line intercepting the y-axis. And the point is going to be right there. So that point is going to read 0, -2. All right? And that is called a horizontal line. And horizontal lines has a slope equal to 0. Okay? So anytime you see y equals something, it's going to cross the y-axis. And that's a horizontal line, has a slope of 0. Vertical line, anytime you have x equals something, it's a vertical line, it's going to cross the x-axis, slope is undefined. So I just wanted to clarify that, okay, when you do these. Okay, so this is a pretty short video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and have a great day.